Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be reviewing the concept of Revit template files, and we're going to be creating our own custom template file to use on future projects going forward. Make sure that you follow along with me in this video because you're going to be submitting the Revit template file that we're creating in this video at the end as part of your lab for submission. All right. So I'm here at the Revit homepage, and you should already be pretty familiar with this process, but whenever we want to start a new project, we're going to go to the new, and then whenever we click on that, it's going to ask us what template file we want to use. Now, what we have done in the past typically is just use the default architectural template, and that's fine. But obviously that was something that was pre-made for us, and there are instances where we're going to want to customize it to make it fit our needs a little bit better as interiors people, right? So anywhere that you're going to work professionally, they're almost always never going to just use these default templates that Revit ships with. They're going to have a modified template of their own, and it's going to be changed in some way that's going to fit that firm's needs a little bit better. So I'm going to show you how we can create our own template to use for our projects that will make it maybe a little bit easier for us. So you want to start out here and go to the Imperial Architectural template, and then you want to click on Project Template and then click OK. Let that load. So then we just have a blank project. So this looks pretty similar to just like a normal project, but if you look up here it says template 3, and this is actually a template file, so it's a little bit different, but mostly it's pretty much the same. And with this you can basically customize any aspect of Revit and put in your own, you can preload families and all that kind of stuff, title blocks, everything, the way that you want it, so that anytime you go to start a new project, everything is already there for you. You don't have to go in and reload all that manually. So the first thing that I want to talk about with this is the browser organization. So over here on the left, you're used to this. This is how we navigate throughout our Revit projects. We have our browser organization over here. And if we right click on this views section, there's this little option here that says browser organization. So go ahead and click on that. Now what we want to do here, so we have all these different options here and ways that we can sort how all the different views are organized throughout the project. So if I were to change one of these, let's say to discipline, all right, and then click apply, and then watch over in the project browser and you can see it will update. So I'm going to go back now, and if I expand this, you can see it's now collapsed everything only to architectural. But if I were to say create a new view, so if I go to view and then plan view and then create a new floor plan, actually I'm going to just have to duplicate one because it's already created. So I'm going to duplicate this. So now I have two of them, and then I'm going to change the discipline here to be, let's say, electrical. Now when I do that, you can see I have an additional discipline here, so that's all my electrical views. All right. So that's basically what that does. So it's just going to change the way that things are organized here within this project browser. So let me delete that, and then let's go back to our browser organization. And we're going to create a new type here. So I'm going to go and click on new, and I'm just going to call this new type type. Click OK. And that's going to bring up this window here. So this first section here, let's not really worry about this for now. We want to go to the grouping and sorting tab. All right, so this is basically controlling the hierarchy of how things get organized. So if you look here, you can see first we're sorting by floor plans, and then it's going to sort all the views under floor plan. Well, really it goes architectural and then floor plans, and then it's showing you all the views. But this is how you establish that hierarchy, is all these sections here. So the first thing that we want to do And you can go in later after, doing this class, and you can customize this the way you want. But I'm just showing you a very simple setup that we can do. We're going to first sort this by family, and then we're going to sort this by type. Okay? And then we're going to click on OK. And then we're going to check that type option and then click Apply. All right, so what this is doing for us is it's sorting it by floor plan, ceiling plan, and elevations. So this is pretty similar to the way it was before, but what we're going to be doing is setting up multiple different types of floor plans and ceiling plans. All right, so when you're working on a project professionally, if any of you have interned yet, a lot of times firms with their template files, they will have different types of floor plans. So for example, they'll have a working floor plan, which is where you're going to do all of your modeling, and that's where you're actually like building the Revit model. Okay, but then we're going to have our other types of plans, so like our construction plans, our finish plans, all of those. And typically we don't want to be working in those when we're actually modeling things, right? We want those to pretty much stay untouched until we get to like the CD set phase of the project. So whenever we're just doing our rough modeling, we want to have a dedicated working floor plan that we will be using. All right, I think right now probably a lot of you have just been working in the default level 1 view, and then well, you might not even know how to do this, but whenever you get to the point where you need to make a different type of view, you might just right click on that and then duplicate it down the line. Really, the best way to do it is to set up all the views ahead of time and then jump around between them as you need to. All right, so now that we have this set up, we're going to go over here to our View tab. And I'm going to go to this section that says Plan Views, and I'm going to go to this Floor Plan section right here. Now with that brought up, we want to click here where it says Floor Plan, and we want to click on Edit Type. So this is going to bring us to a Type Properties box where we can create a new type of floor plan. All right, so right now we're just set to just a regular basic floor plan. That's the only thing that's in here. But what I can do is I can duplicate this, and I can call this one Working Floor Plan, or just Working Plan. All right, now I can click on OK. And then I'm going to add a couple more while we're in here too. So I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to call this one Construction Floor Plan. And then I'm going to create one more, well, two more. I'm going to do a Finish Floor Plan. Okay, and then one more time, and I'm going to do a Furniture Plan. Okay, so now if we hit our drop down, we have all these different types of plans in here, and then I'm just going to click on OK. Now, whenever I choose a new type of plan, you can see it's giving me options to create a new type of view for those different levels in the project. So if I were to go to the regular floor plan, right, you can see that right now the regular floor plan that's in here is just blank because we already have regular floor plans made for those two levels. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Edit Type, and I'm going to rename the regular floor plan Working Floor Plan, or maybe I'll just all right, so I made a small mistake, and I actually wanted to have my regular default floor plan renamed to be Working Plan, and then not actually have a duplicate Working Plan. So you can see I have Floor Plan and Working Floor Plan, and I want to get rid of those, but you can't just straight up delete them, unfortunately. So what I have to do, and if you did the same thing as me, let's go to Manage, and then let's go to Purge Unused, and then I'm going to check None, and I'm going to find my floor plan views right here, and I want to delete out my working floor plan. So actually I'm going to have to, all right, I'm going to have to delete this view out of working floor plan. So we'll delete that. Then go back to Purge Unused, and then floor plan, and now I can check None, and then check only working floor plan, and that should get rid of it. So now I can go back to view and plan views and floor plan, edit type, and then now I can rename this. So this is going to be my working floor plan. Like that. So now that updated, now I have working floor plan over there, and I can click on OK, and then OK again. So now I can basically duplicate and create new views. So I can duplicate level 1, duplicate, and then this one I can go up here to the type, and I can set this to be a construction floor plan. So now that breaks that off into its own separate view, so construction floor plan, and then I can rename this to be just level 1 or level 1 construction plan. Okay, and then this one I'll rename to be level 1 working plan. And then level 2 working plan. Okay, and then I'm going to keep on going. So if I go back to view and then plan views, floor plan, change my type now to, let's see, let's go back to construction floor plan and do one for level 2. And you can see it's going to automatically name that for me. I'm going to need to tweak this. So construction plan. And then let's do a couple more. So let's get all of our plan views in here. So furniture plan. And we'll do level 2. And then we'll finish off with our finish plan. One more. All right, so now we have all of our different plan types built into the template, and we can expand and collapse these as we need, because typically throughout most of the project toward the beginning, you're only going to be working in these working plans. But then later on, when you need to do things like CD sets, you need to add in dimensions and notes and stuff, you might expand your construction plans and work in those to add your dimensions. Or when you're working with your finishes, expand your finishes and then work within there to add your finishes in. Now, a key part of these different plan types or different view types is your view template. All right, so we've talked about view templates in the past. But you might have forgotten what exactly those do. So a view template is basically a predefined set of rules that you're going to apply to a view that's going to control the way things display on that view. All right, because for example, let's say you're putting together a construction plan, but you've also already put a bunch of furniture families into the project. So on a construction plan, you're only going to have built elements shown on the plan. So you don't want to see any furniture or anything like that. So you're going to want a way to control that without having to manually go in every time and turning off the visibility of the furniture. So let's start out in this working plan. And I'm just going to, you don't have to do this modeling aspect with me, so anything I'm drawing here, don't worry about that. But when we do the stuff with the template, the view template, do that along with me. So, or if you want to, you can. So you can see the changes happening on your screen to make sure it's all working correctly, but we're going to end up deleting this out. So I'm just going to make a few walls, and we'll just make a, basic room, so a square. And then I'm going to add in a piece of furniture. All right, so we have a desk here, so we'll plop in the desk. All right, so we can see everything in this view that we placed because there is no view template tied to this view. So what you want to do, and this is only controlling this on an instance basis right now. So I'm right now on level 1 working plan. I can apply a view template to this. So let's say I applied this architectural one in here. So that applies that view template to level 1 working plan. But if I go to level 2 working plan, you can see that the view template switches back to none. All right, so that's an example of an instance-based parameter where I would have to go in on every single view type and put in this view template here. All right, so what you would want to do actually is edit the type here. And you can see we have this option here that says view template applied to new views, none. Now, this isn't probably going to change these ones. We'll probably still have to go in manually and do that. But you want to go in here, and this is where you want to set up your view templates. All right, so for the working plan, right now I'm probably just going to set that to architectural plan, and I might actually rename this to just be working plan. And we're just going to base it off of that default architectural plan and just leave it at the default for now, and then click apply and OK, and that's going to set that. And then I'm going to click apply and then OK again. So now you can see that did not override this here. But if I were to, for example, delete out level 2 working plan and then recreate that, so view and then plan views, floor plan, working plan, level 2 working plan, it should automatically apply the working plan template, and it does. Okay, so I'm just going to manually switch this one to be working plan. All right, so now I have my view template applied to those 2 views. And you're not really seeing anything new happening here, right? It looks exactly what we would expect. We can see everything that we placed. But if I were to go to the construction floor plan, for example, we're going to want to modify this so that we cannot see furniture. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply. Well, first we'll go to edit type, and then we're going to go to the view template, apply to new views, and we're going to again click on, we'll click on working plan here. We're going to duplicate this, and we're going to call this one construction plan. All right, so there's our construction plan. And now over here, this is where we're controlling all of our visibility settings. All right, so what you want to do, mainly what we're going to be focusing on is these VG overrides, model and annotation. All right, so basically what this is your visibility graphics that will be popping up. When you're in a project usually and you hit VV or VG, it brings up your visibility settings. That's all this is. We're controlling it through a template though. So if I go to this edit right here next to overrides model, that's going to bring up our visibility graphic overrides dialog box that we're used to. So we want to come in here and we want to scroll down and we want to find any categories of model elements that we don't want to see in a construction plan, and we want to turn those off. So for example, like what we were planning on doing, we're going to turn off furniture. And then anything else that we see in here that we don't really care about is things that we want to turn off. And I'm not seeing too much in here right now. Furniture is the big one, really, that you would want to control. But it's one of those things where as you're going through and you're working on the project, you might want to jump back in to this view template and modify it. So that way, if something else comes up that you realize you don't want to see in the project, you can easily turn it off. But furniture is the most obvious one, so we're going to click apply and then OK. And then again, apply and OK. Again, apply and OK. All right, so now that we're back to here, we're going to go to our two views and we're going to apply our construction plan view template. And when I do that, you'll see that the piece of furniture will go away, just like that. And then again on here, and we're going to set that to be construction plan. All right. So then let's say we want to do one for the furniture plan. All right, so we're going to go to one of our furniture plan views, and actually let me hop back over to construction plan and let me add in a dimension. So I'm going to go up here to annotate, and then we're going to choose an align dimension, and I'll just do a dimension from the outside face to the outside face of these walls. All right, so there's our dimension. If I go to my furniture plan, level 1 furniture plan, actually, yeah, so dimensions are view specific, so that is only going to show up here. So let me do that in the furniture plan instead. So if I were to, again, do a dimension, right now we can see that in this view. And sometimes you might want to see dimensions in a furniture plan view. So for example, if for some reason you wanted to show the distance of an object away from a wall, like maybe it's like really specific, you might want to show dimensions, but sometimes you don't want to show those dimensions. So you could come in here and you could actually do multiple different view templates. So if you wanted to have just a regular old view template for furniture plans, right, we can come in here and then we can kind of leave things at the default. So right now I can't think of anything really specific that we would want to turn off for a furniture plan. It's again one of those things that you might want to go back to later on during the project and tweak as you see things that you don't actually want to show. But I'm going to leave that as the default right now. And then I could duplicate this now, and I could do a furniture plan no dimensions or something like that, no dims. All right, so I have furniture plan and furniture plan no dims, and then I can overwrite my VG overrides annotation category. I can come in here and I can find dimensions, and I can uncheck those. So now I uncheck that, and then I click apply and OK, and you can see the dimensions are now gone. So because I have the furniture plan no dims on, but if I were to switch that now to be furniture plans, click apply and OK, they come back. All right, so we just want to make sure that we are adding this now to our view template applied to new views. So by default, we'll set that to be just regular furniture plans and then apply and OK. And that should be good. And then we just want to make sure that we have that also applied to level 2. So let's double click on level 2 and apply furniture plans. Okay. All right, so then let me make sure that I did that for this as well. So that looks good. The last one would be our finished floor plans. So this is a floor plan that's going to show all of our finishes. All right, and I talked about this in the previous lecture. So I'm going to go to finish plan. And on our finish plans, we probably wouldn't really want to see any furniture, right? Just like the construction plan. Because this is mainly just going to show us the finishes in the space. And we're also probably not going to want to see any dimensions. So if I add in a dimension here, again, go like that. Really all we're concerned about is, annotations and hatches and things like that. They're going to describe to the person reading the floor plan the types of finishes in the space. So we're not worried about other things that will clutter up the view like furniture or these dimensions. So again, we're going to edit our view template. And we're going to go to working plan again. And we're going to duplicate this and call this one finish plans. Okay. Then we're going to go to our model overrides. We're going to find furniture, and we're going to turn that off, click apply. Then we're going to go to annotation categories. We're going to find dimensions, and we're going to turn those off as well. All right, so there's our finish plan, and then we're going to click apply, and then both of those will go away. So then again, we just want to apply that to our view. So we're going to go here to view template applied to new views. We're going to set that to be our finish plan. And we're going to make sure that both of these levels are set to finish plan. Okay, so now that we've done that, we have all of our views that our view templates that we want set up. So if we didn't want to work off of those other plans or those other view templates we have in here, so like they have architectural and structural framing, site plan, all that stuff, you know, if you don't really want that in here, we can purge those out. So if we go back to manage and then purge unused, and then we again check none, and we go to our view templates, see if I can find them. Maybe we can just delete those out. Let me check. All right, so we can only purge those out or delete them if we don't have any views that they're being used for. So, well, I'm not sure why it's not letting me delete those. Well, we don't really need to worry about that though. You can just leave them in for now. It's fine. You're just going to have a few extra options in here that you're not going to use, but I'm sure there's a way, some way to delete those out of there. It's just I can't remember how you do that. So we're going to leave them in. It's not a big deal. All right, but everything is pretty much set up the way that we want it now. So now what I'm going to do is basically clear everything out of this project. So let's delete all that. And let me just go back here and take my view template off really quick so that I can see those dimensions and stuff. All right, so the dimensions are gone when I deleted that, which is perfect. So just make sure that that's set back the way we want it. And I'm just going to go through all these views and make sure everything is cleared out of here. So everything looks like it's cleared out. All right, so my desk is still there, so let's delete that. All right, so everything looks like it's pretty much cleared out of here. So I'm just going to collapse all these. And now we have it set up kind of the way that we want it, all right? So this is just like a very basic start to the template file. You can obviously go and add in a lot more things as well. So for example, if you wanted to add in extra levels, so if you wanted to start out your project with a default of 3 levels, you could, and you could build that into the template. You might not necessarily need to worry about that though, but if you want to add in a 3rd level, you can. All right, so I'm not going to do that. We're just going to delete this out. And actually, let me see if I can rename this level. So I'm going to take the working plan off of this and see if it lets me just name that. No, I do not want to rename corresponding views, so I just want to delete out the working plan and then click no. And that's going to make that level 2, so that's good. And delete that. All right, so that's the way that we want that. Perfect. So that's a really good start for our template. And then when you're done with your template and you want to save it and actually make it accessible whenever you start a new project, what you need to do is go up here and let's go to File, and then save as template. All right, and then we want to navigate to the directory where these are saved. So what you want to do is go to your Windows C drive, and then you want to go to Program Data, and then Autodesk, and then Revit 2019, or no, the version of Revit that you have. So actually I'm in 2021. So RVT 2021, templates, and then English Imperial, and then this is where you would want to save that. Now some of you, back on this step, so if I go back to Windows C, you can see this program data folder is a little bit lighter colored. That means that this is a hidden file, and I'll bet that most of you aren't able to see this. So you have to enable on your Windows system the ability to see these hidden files. So you want to go down here to the bottom left to the search bar if you cannot see this, and you want to type in show hidden, and it's going to pop up this option that says show hidden files. Click on that. And then we're going to scroll down here, and you'll see this boxes around the show settings here where it says change settings to show hidden and system files. So we're going to click on that. And then this window that pops up, this is the option you want to change. So yours will probably say don't show hidden files, folders, and drives. You want to click on show hidden folders, files, and drives, and then you want to click OK. And then that should fix the problem. So now when you come back here, you should see program data. So again, Program Data, Autodesk, find your version of Revit. It's going to be RVT, probably either 2021 or 2022. So I'm going to find 2021. Templates, and then English Imperial. And then I'm going to call this one, I don't know, maybe Custom Interiors Template. All right, then we're going to save that. So now that's saved, but if I were to go and like try to start a new file, so let's go to my home screen and start a new model, that's not going to appear in this list. All right, it's still just only going to show the template files that we had in there already. So there's another setting we need to change. So what you need to do now is go to File and Options, and then go to File Locations, and right here is all of those template files that we have in here. So what this is basically, and I can't make this any bigger, it doesn't seem, these are those paths that those individual files are located. All right, so this is pointing to those files in that RVT 2021 templates folder that we were just in. And then this is where they're actually applying a name to it. So if you actually look at the Imperial architectural template that we normally work off of, if I click on this or hover over this path and you look at that, at the end of the path name, you see it says default RTE, right? So the actual template file is not named Imperial Architectural. It's actually default RTE. So they're just pointing to that file location, and then they're calling that the architectural template. So what we want to do is click on Add Value, and then we want to navigate to that custom interiors template we made right there, and then click on Open. And then we want to make sure that this name here is what we want. So you can change this to be anything you want. So if you just wanted to make this like interiors template or custom interiors template, leave it like that, you can. And then you can change the position in this list. So if you want this to be at the top of the list, you can click this and move it all the way up to the top of the list so it shows up right there every time you start a new project. So now that I'm happy with that, I can just click on OK. And then one last thing I want to do is change my default starting view. So right now I'm starting on the east elevation. So I'm going to start on my level 1 working plan. And then I'm going to save this file again. So now let's try it. Let's go to our home menu and let's try to make a new project. So we're going to click on new, and right here toward the top, I have interiors template, and then I can make sure that's set to new project, and then click OK. And actually, I'm going to have to close out of this, I believe. So let me close out of this completely. Cancel. All right, let's start that again. So new, and then interiors template, new project, okay? Let that load. And now you can see that we are in our new project, and we have everything set up the way that we made it prior. So we have all of our views in here, our working plan. All the view templates are applied by default out of the gate, so we don't have to worry about that. So that's pretty cool. And then if you ever wanted to update that template file, you could just go to the options again, and then you can go back to file locations, and then you can click on the path of that interiors template right here, and that's going to open up a window, and then you could just open up the file from here. So see if I go to custom interiors template and then open. Actually, a better way to do it probably would just be to copy this. So let me copy this path name. So Control C to copy that to my clipboard. And then go to one of my things here. I'm going to go to this bar up here at the top, our search bar, and paste that in. And then that's going to open it for us. All right. So I'm back here in the template file, and then I can make changes to this template file now and add in things or take away things that I want to, and then just resave it. And then any new project I make going forward is going to take on those new changes that I've made. All right, so some other things to consider when you're working with your template files, and we're not going to do that in this video or anything, but you could build in custom materials. So if you know that you have a bunch of materials that you use every single project, you can have a setup material library, and you can, using your material editor, so manage materials, add in all of those materials that you want and save that within this template file. So those will appear every single time you create a new file. Something that you could also do is if you have an existing project or multiple existing projects where you've used materials that you know you're going to want to have access to in the future, you can actually open up both of those projects right beside each other. So let me see here. So I have this project right here. What I can do is, let's go to manage materials, and then I'm going to add in just a new material, and I'm going to call this custom material. All right, and then we'll just give it a color. Perfect. So now you can see I have my own custom green material. Okay, then I can go back to my template file or any project, and I can go to transfer project standards, and this is going to copy stuff over from one project to another. All right, so you want to make sure the project you want to copy from is set up here. So that's the project I want. Then I want to check none, and then only check the things I want to copy over. So you can copy, you can use this for anything. So anything that you have set up in another project, any of these categories here, right? You can look through them, and if you see something you're like, oh, I already made a bunch of those, and you want to have access to them down the line, you can copy all of those over to this template file. So I'm going to find the materials. Okay, so there's materials, and I'm going to check that on and click OK. And that's going to say I have a bunch of ones that are already in the project, but they're different. I'm just going to say I want only the new materials. All right, and that's going to bring them over. So now if I go to materials and I look at my materials, there's my custom material, right? So that got copied over into the new template file, okay? And you can do that with any material. So you can copy just a ton of materials that you've already made over here, and then you won't have to remake them every single time you do a new project. Just build it directly into the template, and then it's always there and ready to go each time you do a new project, all right? So you can consider doing that as well, and you can add those to your own template file. But for our purposes for this, we're not going to worry about that. You don't have to do this for this little thing I'm going to have you submitting. All right. So basically all you need to do, though, is you're going to submit this file to me as part of the final submission. All right. So you want to submit in the template file, and let me see here. So an easy way to do that, again, if you have copied your URL like I did previously, and you paste that in here, you just want to take off this end part where it says /custom interiors template, and then hit enter, and that's going to take you to that file location where you save that. Then you just want to click on the custom interiors template and copy that, and then move it over to some other folder, all right, where you can easily upload it from. And you could even just upload it from here too. It's whatever you want to do. But if you want to pull that out into its own folder for a submission, you can. All right, but just keep track of that and make sure that you can get to it here so that you can actually turn in this template file as part of your submission. So hopefully that was just a good review of templates and project organization and view templates, things like that. Hopefully you learned something new and got something out of that. So make sure that you are just following along with this, and you got to the same spot I did with setting up all these views, and then save this file and make sure that you are saving it for the submission at the very end of the module.